told me not to step out of this red circle. Oops. But when was anything meaningful achieved by staying inside the lines? Maybe I do want to be in the frame, but I want to talk about why we keep framing leadership the wrong way. Think, who do you consider a true leader? Is it their title that made you consider them a true leader? Or is it something else? See, I grew up in a generation that was bombarded with the messages, be a leader, be a change maker. All of you are leaders. But nobody explained what leadership really is. We were told to lead, but not taught what leadership represents. So naturally, many of us rushed to wear the badge. We chased titles and roles and initiatives. I know I did, and some of you can probably relate. Because if you're a boss of something, then you're a leader, right? I don't think so. And let me explain why. I'm a part of the Mountain Rescue Service. Fully volunteer. No pay, no status. On disposal 24/7. Just me and several dozen others who regularly abandon our daily routines, our lunches, dinners, birthdays, even our sleep, to go rescue somebody who got a bit too optimistic about hiking. And it's always the same. Be it in the sweltering summer heat, or in the pouring rain, or in the absolutely worst blizzard I've seen in my life. Never in fine weather, God forbid. A broken bone, a twisted ankle, dehydration. And there we are, muddy, soaked, sweating, or freezing after hours of search, pulling a stranger to safety. Why do we do it? I suppose a fair assumption is that something's hilariously wrong with us. But in reality, my parents are alpinists. I spent my weekends in the mountains since before I could walk. I've always known what it feels like to be lost deep in the mountains, and how much it means when somebody shows up when you're lost. That's why I show up. Because at that moment, titles don't mean anything. Help means everything. Our sole purpose is to leave those we rescue in a better state than the one we found them in. To help, to save lives. And that's the point I want to make today. Leadership isn't about titles or positions or power. Leadership is about purpose. A purpose in action, in making an impact. Now, what happens when that purpose is lost? To help me illustrate, I'll take you back with me to my Model UN days. Not so long ago, the Model UN scene in Sarajevo was really developed. The network exploded, conferences multiplied, and suddenly everybody wanted a fancy title. Chair, director, secretary, head of something. Some badges needed 2 lines. Some people needed 2 badges. But something got lost in the process. The learning, the collaboration, the friendships, it all got replaced by status games. When some gave more importance to the badge than to the entire academic experience, others stopped showing up. When purpose faded, so did the network. Because purpose became image, not impact. That's what happens when leadership is confused with prestige. Now here's what real leadership looks like. It looks like volunteers. It looks like waking up at midnight and chugging an unhealthy amount of coffee to go rescue somebody who thought it was a good idea to go hiking in sneakers. Now, if you can lead a team of people like that, people driven not by fear or by salary, but by purpose, you've understood something powerful. I came to learn that leadership, in its essence, requires 4 things. A purpose that inspires action. People who want to be there. A sense of community, and mutual accountability. Now let's break that down. Purpose is your why. It's what makes people show up even when it's raining. It's what makes effort feel meaningful. And when people believe in your why, they don't need to be ordered what to do. They just need to be pointed in the right direction. because they'll want to do it. And in such setting, a community is built, a space where belonging drives action. And in that space, accountability isn't top-down. It's mutual. You're all responsible to each other, and you're all responsible to the mission. Now, let me ask you something. If the people who are following you didn't have to, would they still be there? Let me give you another example. Last year, my friends and I applied for a Halloween costume competition. The stakes, 0, if you don't count my pride. The purpose, good fun. But we took it seriously. The planning, the props, the costumes, the group choreography, it was a whole operation. We didn't win in the end, but we made a connection. We created a shared moment, an endearingly embarrassing memory. And that bond is stronger than any committee title I've ever had. And that's leadership too. Maybe small, but it moved people. A friend's relentless motivation to go out and have fun had us meticulously preparing for a party. Perhaps more seriously than we prepared for our professional tasks. Now, zoom out. Let's go back in history. Think of Marie Curie. No position, definitely no power, just pure purpose. She disguised herself as a man to be able to study science. Later, she became not the first woman in history, but the first person in history to be awarded a Nobel Prize in both chemistry and physics. Her mission was gaining knowledge, not power. And today, millions are inspired, not by her title, but by her dedication. And she's not the only such figure in history. Think of Nelson Mandela or Mahatma Gandhi, perhaps viewed as leaders a bit more conventionally. But neither had traditional power when they started. They led with their conviction, and people followed. They were inspired, not paid. And that inspiration created powerful communities. Communities powerful enough to change history. Now, back to the present moment. In 2022, a Deloitte study found that over half of Gen Z feels burnt out trying to meet constant leadership expectations. Maybe it's time to shift the expectations. Because when leadership is tied to status, we burn out trying to reach it. But when it's tied to purpose, we build each other because we relate to the purpose. We create communities. We become colleagues and friends, not competitors. So here's my advice. Slow down. Don't chase the badge or run to the podium. Leadership isn't something you grab. It's something you grow into. And that takes time. Find your purpose first. Learn why you would hike into a storm, or why you would agree to go out with your friends and make embarrassing memories. And then learn to build a community. Because leadership takes soft skills too. If the people that you're leading don't want to be there, then you're not leading, you're managing. Or worse, you're controlling. But if they show up, stay up late, show up even if it's raining or if it's this burning sun, then you're leading. If they volunteer their time to your mission, you are leading. So the next time you think about leadership, forget the dot. Forget the label. Ask yourselves instead, what am I standing for? Who is standing with me? And what am I willing to hike into a storm for? Because if enough of us show up for the right reasons, then all of us are indeed leaders. Thank you.